Alright, here we go. Are you ready for this? This is the big five, not a top five. I've done 2 top fives now. The last two take videos, but I broke one into 2 videos on YouTube, so like 3 videos, but like 2 filmings. The big five. Big five of what? Okay. And this is inspired by my time living in South Africa. So like they had the big 5 animals, and so it was, and the big 5, it's not just like something to look for on a safari. The big 5 animals of South Africa and Africa and that kind of thing, they were on the currency of South Africa, which I always thought was really cool. Like, a lot of people put humans on currency, and I still think it's really cool that on the South African rand bills, they put different animals. I was like, props to them for caring enough about nature that they didn't put people on it. So I thought it was really cool. So this is inspired by my time and my friends in Africa, who are like, top fives are awesome. This is a nod to you guys. And so, but the big 5s are like fun, and so top 5s can kind of be made about anything, but the big 5s, I guess they're culturally significant. So I'm gonna do, because I wrote a lot about swimming, and just being honest with myself, I don't know, like, I've enjoyed writing about swimming, but that doesn't mean that like I will write at the same intensity indefinitely. Like, that life changes and ebbs and flows, and so I might write more, I might write less. And so 2021 was a great year in terms of diversity of nations that did well, like medaling from many continents. So that's pretty cool. And so it was a very geographically diverse year in terms of who did well. Maybe not so much at like the Olympic Games, but other places, diversity was very prevalent, and there were really good performances. So it wasn't just diversity, it was diversity and quality of performance. And so for the past kind of, I guess, the big 5 teams to watch in swimming, and I'll think of how to phrase that for a title of the video, but like the big 5 national swim teams, or big 5 countries to watch in swimming, kind of. And I might put that at like 5-10 years, probably longer. I don't know. I've found these 5 countries to be ones that I've really enjoyed writing about, and the athletes are young enough that I'm like, I've been watching some countries, like growing up, really liked watching the swimmers from Japan, from Australia, from Jamaica, which is like really Aaliyah Atkinson. So just, yeah, it's been kind of, Spain, Maria Belmonte Garcia, and so there's like individuals, but there's also countries that, like, in watching the Olympic Games, I haven't always been drawn towards the Americans, even though I live in America. And so who am I gonna watch now? It's kind of changing, and in writing and publishing about swimming, I would say my tastes have not definitely changed, but like, there's a bit of who's staying, and some swimmers are retiring, so there's not really many swimmers from that country if they're kind of the only one at a certain level. So there's just kind of like a reality check of things are changing in this arena, and I need new teams to watch, or countries to watch in swimming. So these are like the big 5 countries to watch in swimming for me. I guess I'm not gonna really put, so big 5 countries to watch in swimming, and we'll see if I can remember them. Sounds terrible, but yeah. Okay. Let's start with number 5. Is going to be South Africa. So they've got some new talent, and like not all new. So I lived in South Africa in 2012, and a really big name when I lived in South Africa was Tanis Schoenmaker. And she was huge nationally at the time. She was like the #1 swimmer socially that we talked about in South Africa, and that was back in 2012. And just this past year, she got her first world record. She got a gold medal at the Olympic Games, and I was like, hey, we talked about you 9 years ago when I was living in South Africa. So that was really cool. I was like, life come full circle. And I got to write and publish about her on Wikipedia, and I was like, it's kind of fun getting, like, she was part of the cultural scene when I was living in South Africa, so in 2012. And so to write about it, I guess technically over 9 years later, because the Summer Olympics were in the summer and I was living in Africa like January to June of 2012, so like 9.5 years later, over 9.5 years later, I'm finally like writing about it. Her, Tatiana Schoenmaker. So she's one of the new talents. There's Matthew Sates, there's golden oldies like Chad Leclos, who's like probably the #1 performance of the entire 2012 Summer Olympics was him in the 200-meter butterfly. Just being honest. So he's older, but he's still staying in the sport, and there's new talent, and there's part of me that's like, that's 3 people. And there's others that are getting faster too, so they could have mixed relay teams. They got 2 guys, and they got 2 girls, and they can make, so there's a lot of South Africa, they haven't had enough numbers at the same time to have full relay teams. So like, the people end up swimming a lot of individual races, but and one of the teams I used to watch a lot was Japan. I think I said that, but like I was really into breaststroke, and they had like Suzuki and stuff like that. Okay, anyway, South Africa, back to this. They could have a mixed relay team. Like, they could have relays. If they keep getting enough talent, they could have relays. So this is definitely a country to watch in my books because of the infusion of young talent and not losing some of their golden oldies. I'm saying that I was born in 1992. Chad Leclos was born in 1992. So, like, I guess I'm calling myself a golden oldie. I'm 29 years old. For a lot of youngsters in this world, I am a golden oldie. I also acknowledge that I'm not that old. And like Dara Torres was like out there winning Olympic medals when she was 41. So it's not actually that old in swimming, just even at the international level. But point being, he's still got a lot of time left. Maybe he'll be like the first 60-year-old to win a gold medal at the Olympic Games in swimming or something. I don't know. Go Chad Leclos. Go South Africa. So they're number 5. Number 4. I gotta do it. Okay, let me just like really think about this for a second. Am I really gonna do this? I'm gonna do this. Australia. Okay, so like, butterfly is my least favorite stroke, and freestyle is my second to least favorite stroke. And there have been some ladies and some men, but like really the ladies are kind of as like on a countrywide level. I've been most impressed with the females from Australia. Like just like these aren't even my favorite strokes, and I kind of want to watch these races like because I like the people that much as like human beings. So they're like good human beings and good swimmers. Based on like their interviews and stuff like that. They're not some swimmers can really have chips on their shoulders and get really arrogant and stuff, especially if they're winning gold medals, and they're very down to earth. Come from a land down under. No, okay. Just they're Australia's always been good, and like I really liked Liesl Jones. Like I used to swim breaststroke. But there's a lot of them. So a country to watch, and their medal table this year, like at the 2020 Summer Olympic Games, was like whoosh. They did really well, and which is great because it's kind of opposite of the Americans. So like when an American wins 5 or plus Olympic medals at an Olympic game, they don't really affect the medal table of America. Like this America still wins about the same number of medals, no matter if one person's like winning 5 medals or more. Australia is not the case. They have good medal tables when like the people who win like 7 medals, the entire Australia team does better, which is good because it means that person who wins 7 Olympic medals is having a positive effect on the team, and they're not the only one, right? If you only have one person, like, and the medal table is not affected, you could actually make a case for that person's actually having a negative effect on the country they're representing and country performance, the other athletes. So Australia gets the medal table right when they have someone who wins 5 or more Olympic medals. The United States of America has not historically done that. So Australia. Number 3. Is Egypt. So, okay, a lot of long letters. Why Egypt? Because they've been, so in terms of upwards mobility, Egypt's really freaking fast these days. Like beating Americans kind of fast. Which like Americans are really high in the medal tables usually for sporting international swimming events. So like to be faster than Americans is a really big deal. And so historically they keep records are kept for like the fastest swim for someone representing an African country, and then they look at all the people from representing Africa, and like it'll be an African record for like the swimmers representing Africa and stuff like that. And historically a lot of those have been South African records, and Egypt is slowly taking away those records. And so they're an interesting team for that because their level of competitiveness is really high. First off, they're taking away the African records, but not just Africa, they're competitive internationally with other continents, including North America as well. So, and Europe and stuff like that. So they're fast. And I'm curious, excited to watch, right? These are the big 5 countries to watch in swimming. They're definitely going to watch.